I think we're here. I just can't see our faces. Give me a sec.
Uh-oh.
I can see my face once.
Hey, we are here. Never mind. Separated by cosmic cabinets, Brandon, Paul, and Logan are broadcasting the Breakdown Podcast live using their telepathic powers. My name is Brandon Miracle, broadcasting live from the Break Room Arcade. If you look south of me in the video version, you'll see the wonderful and beautiful face of Paul Anderson, broadcasting live from the Break Room Clubhouse. If you look to the right of me in the video version, you'll see the wonderful and beautiful face of Logan Welliver, broadcasting live from the Break Room Bedroom. This is the Breakdown Podcast, recording live on June 16th, 2018. This is episode 22?
22.
Yeah, 22.
Wow.
We might have been at this for a while now.
Yeah. It's been great. For those of you wondering where Nintendo stuff is, we're working on that. So don't worry. We had a little bit of a mix up in the audio, but it's most of the way done. Logan is working on that.
It should be up by like tomorrow sometime. So you'll get to listen to that. It'll be good. It'll be good.
So I want to thank you guys for coming out to watch. As you guys know, the Breakdown Podcast is the show where we tell you all of our favorite movies, TV, anime, and video games that we've been experiencing over the last week. And boy, I didn't do a lot of that. In fact, neither Logan or I have any movies or TV to talk about.
I do have a movie to talk about.
What is it?
So don't speak for me. We'll talk about it when it comes to me.
Okay. So. Well, Paul, you got the biggest list, so we'll start with you.
Yeah, it's been a big week for movies here. Starting off, I watched the new Tomb Raider movie, and I still don't 100% know how I feel about that. I don't know, for whatever reason, I was expecting it to be a more, like, faithful adaptation of the games. And they kind of played around with her origin story a bit, and, like, you start off this movie, and rather than being, you know, the Lara Croft rich girl that we got in the video game, who's, you know, on an adventure on a giant boat in the water.
Right.
You get a bike messenger.
Okay.
Turns out that, like, since her father had died, she was refusing to take his money because he was kind of, like, lost on an adventure, and so she didn't want to, like, formalize his death. And so she just living the poor life, just like everybody else.
Wow.
And they kind of use that as an excuse, like she's practicing kickboxing. Like I said, she's a bike messenger, so she's always like zipping around everywhere on a bike, doing all kinds of acrobatics on her bike. And so they kind of use that as an excuse as to, oh hey, here's why she's able to do all this amazing stuff once the actual like plot starts.
Fair enough, I guess.
I didn't care for it as much. I would have preferred them like starting in the ocean on the adventure rather than like try and build up the narrative.
Could have done like a Man of Steel kind of thing, or we just kind of go back every once in a while.
Maybe. I mean, I feel like the biggest thing was just like talking about her relationship with her father. Everyone they introduced, except with the exception of one person in all that introduction stuff, had no purpose. They did not need to be there. I don't even think they really even went back to them.
That's kind of sad.
On top of that, I'm also very upset that the cast from the boat in the game, none of them were there. They just like swapped all of them out for one person.
Okay. So they just got rid of the cast outside of Lara herself.
Yeah. They didn't even have a Himiko, I think, was the girl's name.
Wasn't she like a central character to the first game?
It was.
What are you doing?
I still managed to enjoy the movie, but it wasn't exactly what I thought it would be, and it's not exactly what I wanted it to be either. So,
it's largely an adaptation of the game?
That's what I thought it would be, and it's more of like an improvisation of the game.
The trailers that came out utilized a lot of scenes from that first reboot game, and I guess that they set the wrong precedent with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's close, but it's also very, very distant.
So is it like the same story, just missing a bunch of elements, or?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
They cut out a lot of characters. They cut out... I mean, the thing about this game, too, is that it was an excellent story. They did a very good job presenting it, and it wouldn't have been hard to adapt it into a movie. Like, I could see cutting out a couple characters, but, like, silver platter.
But
and
here's
they
the other
just toss
thing.
it aside.
Movies are not games, and games are not movies. So why try to adapt the game at all? You know, come up with an original story, right? There's other stories to tell, right? It's not like this is the first Tomb Raider game. You know, there's million stories have been told.
I guess then, how much of her backstory is correct, or at least like
She's got a rich dad.
That's about it.
He likes adventure.
Close enough, I guess. Dream Drop likes the bike chase sequence, he says.
I mean, it was good. It was just not what I was expecting. Like, I wasn't expecting her to be zipping around as a bike messenger, getting chased on the bike.
We did get one good video game film adaptation this week. Today, in fact. Logan, did you get a chance to watch this yet?
Dude, I was going to, but I swear to God, like, I got home, and the first thing I did is I made some food, and then I sat down and I started working on all this stuff. I started getting the thumbnail together and all this other stuff, and I had it queued up. I'm like, okay, once I finish all this stuff, I'm gonna watch this, and I didn't have enough time, so I'm gonna watch it afterwards. But okay, what are your thoughts on?
Do it before it gets taken down. That's all I'm.
I don't think it will.
I had a feeling like if it was going to get taken down, it would have happened already.
I think Sony sees this as a very good thing. You know, something to build off of.
This could very easily be. This was actually my first thought. It could be a Deadpool situation. Yeah, release the test footage and then garner hype, get people interested in it, get people talking about it, and then actually work on the real thing.
I mean, there's a movie in production. It's just who knows when that's coming. Yeah. You got Tom Holland playing a young Nathan Drake, which I think is great.
Yes.
Right.
Hopefully they have the. Hopefully from seeing this, they decide to cast Nathan Fillion. He's out of the actual voice actor for Nathan Drake.
Nathan Fillion was incredible as Nathan Drake. He nailed the mannerisms. He looks a heck of a lot like him. His voice even sounds like Nathan Drake. It was all kind of pretty much there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason everybody like is kind of like talking about this, right?
Yeah.
So I can't wait to watch it. I adore Nathan Fillion. So and obviously again, it's kind of uncanny how much he just kind of fits the character. So I'm excited to watch it.
There's a couple other characters in there too. Sully. I don't know the actor who played him, but I was pretty into his performance, not nearly as much as Nathan Fillion. Nathan Fillion is like the star of the show here. And then the girl they got for Elena was fine, but I didn't feel like she was Elena at all.
That's kind of where I was at too. When you sent me an image of the actual voice actress for Elena, I'm like, that's the one right there. Get her.
She can just be Elena. Like, she's there. The same can be said for Drake's voice actor.
Yeah. Though I'm also very, very happy with Nathan Fillion, but
I would take
you grab either of those two, and you're just killing it.
Excuse me.
Bless you. Right.
Someone was talking about me playing Nathan Drake, and that's why I sneezed. Japanese urban legends. Someone's talking about you somewhere, you sneeze. Anyway, if you haven't seen that, definitely check it out. It's a fantastic fan film. Runs about 15 minutes long, and there's one aspect of it I desperately want to talk about. Logan, I'll just let you see that for yourself, though, because it's pretty great.
Okay, we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah. What else you got, Paul?
So I finally got a chance to sit down and watch 3 Billboards Over Ebbing, Missouri. It was on sale on Vudu, and I was a bad boy. But it paid off because it is a phenomenal movie.
I really wanted to see this in theaters.
I absolutely recommend, like, if you get a chance to sit down and watch it. It is, like I said, just absolutely phenomenal. The movie starts up, and it's 7 months after the main character's daughter is murdered. I don't even think like a mile away from her house. And so on the same stretch of road where they find her daughter murdered, there's these 3 billboards. And so 7 months, no arrests. She decides to use these billboards to call out the sheriff of the town. Now, something I don't think they touch on in the previews for this, the sheriff has cancer and is dying. And so this like really greatly ties into the dynamic of this woman's actions, the police department and the town, who are all kind of at odds with each other.
Okay, I like the idea behind that.
It's just all drama from there on.
You're speaking my language. Yeah.
And so I don't want to give much more than that, but it's so good.
You've given me enough. I mean, I wanted to see it enough already, so that'll probably happen.
The main character, the casting is phenomenal. The lady is like, her snark is on point. Like, every interaction she has with someone is just so great, so hilarious.
Okay, I'll definitely check that out. That was was that this year or last year?
I think it was last year.
That was an Oscar nomination, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It deserved it.
So that's an Oscar season movie, and soon enough, we'll be getting into Oscar season here for this year too. So keep your eyes out for some movies that probably won't get talked about at all until they're getting awards.
Or in my case, like way after. That's when I'll watch it, is after they get nominated. That's when my attention comes to them. They're like, oh man, I should see that.
Well, I mean, it's impossible to keep track of all the movies, right? So it's a good time to watch good movies because they're all kind of like, oh, here they all are in one big pile, right?
Speaking of, though, I'm pretty sure this next movie was also Oscar nominated, Lady Bird.
Yes.
I think so.
I saw that was on Amazon Prime Instant Video, and so I'm like, I haven't seen this yet. I will watch that.
I saw this one in theaters.
I've been meaning to watch Lady Bird for a while.
Now it's the perfect opportunity. It's on Amazon Instant Video.
It's interesting. This movie got a lot of attention and critical acclaim, and I liked it a lot, though I didn't exactly like it as much as everybody else did.
I'm kind of sitting somewhere near that. I think, like, you step out of that mindset that this is something that generated a lot of, like, buzz and critical acclaim, and just, like, objectively as the experience, it was a good experience. I definitely enjoyed the film.
Yeah, me too. This is a movie I'll probably watch again.
Yeah. It has a lot of value in that, like, that late high school area of life. I think it really kind of portrays that fairly well. Especially when you have a girl who comes from a family of such little means, living in an area full of people who are just all very well off.
Yeah, and
I identify with that a lot.
That's an interesting part too, is the character of Lady Bird herself is very relatable, but super hard to digest for me. She has got a lot of dimension to her character that doesn't exactly come through for me right away. You really have to sit there and break her down to understand why she does anything that she does.
Yeah. Well, I think, like, the thing I enjoyed most about this movie is actually the ending because of that. Like, it's hard. I wasn't sure where they were going with it. And then it still left a little bit ambiguous, but I don't know. It was something that you had to, like, put some thought into. It wasn't just handed to you on a platter.
Yeah, I mean, I think the ending is fairly clear for the most part. I mean, at least the implication they're trying to give you before the credits start rolling. Overall, I think all the performances are strong. The script is really good for this movie. I had the chance to actually read the screenplay by hand after I saw the movie. And that was a pretty good experience. It's a very colorful script, but the performances are very dry, and I think it's pretty realistic in that sense. The kinds of conversations that Lady Bird will have with her friend are really stupid, but they're the kind of stupid that you're going to have with your friends too.
Yeah.
It's,
like I said, it kind of hits that, like, late high school time of life, like, fairly honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's a very organic movie, I think. is a good way to put it.
Except I don't know anyone in high school that changes their name to Ladybird.
Ladybird did. That's like I said, her character's hard to digest.
Yeah, I think most people don't change their names. Most people just kind of live with it. But I imagine there are some weird people changing their names to weird things.
I mean, how different is her calling herself Ladybird than us going online and coming up with usernames for our online accounts?
Yeah, Loggy Doves.
Well, in that context, though, everybody does that. Where if you're just going around high school calling yourself Ladybird, chances are, like, it was a forgiving school. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Wasn't it a Christian school?
Like, if it was just a regular high school, she would have gotten the crap, like, just so much crap. They would have made fun of her so bad.
Yeah, she more stands out than anything. Yeah, I'd recommend anybody to watch this. Don't anticipate it to be exciting at all. Like I said, it's a very dry movie.
I think that's part of the point.
It is, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily for me.
It's understandable. I mean, it's quickly, like, I watched a film a few years ago called Hunger, and that movie is incredibly slow, right? But it's really, really good. But it's a really, really tough movie to watch, so it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Same kind of situation here.
It's a slow burn, a little hard to digest, but there's a lot to digest. So definitely watch it more than once would be my recommendation for that.
Let's see. One to very briefly pass over. I watched Swiss Army Man, and I still don't know how I feel about that.
That's a movie you watch again.
That's a movie I never want to watch again.
I enjoyed that film. I really, really enjoyed it. I liked just the character, you know, the personality that the movie had, and it wasn't like everything that I thought it was gonna be, but I thought it was even better than that, even though it was weird, you know.
It has a very psychological game to it.
Yeah,
there was reports of like people.
Pick up on that.
There were reports of people walking out of theaters for that one, if I remember right.
Really?
Yeah.
I can understand. Well, I was kind of like that first scene with Daniel Radcliffe when he gets in the water and they're just they're surfing around on his flatulence. I stopped. I paused the movie and I just looked at the screen for like a minute and I just wondered, how did they get Daniel Radcliffe to sign up for this movie?
Dude, why would you not? Why would you not? If you were told you were going to be in a movie and at some point, okay, you were playing a dead guy, right? And at certain points you were going to be reanimated, but only in a guy's mind. But in the movie, it's real because the character, you know, actor has to do stuff. And at some point, they were like, and he's going to ride you, and you guys are going to be propelled across water on your farts. And you're telling me that you wouldn't do that. That's what you're saying.
It depends
That's what
on
you're
if you
telling me
want
right
a
now.
career to follow afterwards.
Dude, he's already.
I mean, he's Harry
That's
Potter.
amazing.
He'll be fine for the rest of his life. I haven't seen this movie yet. I've wanted to see it for a long time.
I think that's also on Prime Instant Video.
Something like that.
I'll finally have to check that out.
Yeah, it's muy bueno.
What else you got,
My
Paul?
mind is so messed up. And so, last but not least, I finally got to see Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm glad I made time to go to the theater to see this movie. Oh boy, I enjoy Ant-Man a whole lot, and I still do.
It's a good movie.
Heck yeah.
Not super groundbreaking, but it's par for the course. It's just pretty good in my book.
I think I agree with a lot with people who said that, like, maybe not to the degree of, like, it's the best Marvel sequel they've ever made, but in terms of Marvel sequels, it rates very high for me.
Yeah, I mean, Thor Ragnarok is the best Marvel sequel.
I thought you were gonna say Captain America: Winter Soldier.
No, I think it might be Thor Ragnarok. In
I'm
terms
with
of like
Brandon.
how far it leaps ahead of the original movie, that's where it's gonna go.
That's not even fair. They weren't even trying the first two movies. That Thor Ragnarok is the first Thor film that they've made for the MCU.
That said, Captain America: Winter Soldier is one of my favorite Marvel movies of all time.
You said Captain America.
Captain America. I'm woke, boys.
Oh my god.
So now
yeah,
you need to
Logan,
see
go
that
see
movie.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, I do need to
We got
see
some
Ant-Man
post
and
scenes
the
to
Wasp.
talk about.
And I really like Ant-Man, and I like Paul Rudd, so I don't know why I haven't seen it yet.
I like Ant-Man, but I love Paul Rudd. That's what I would say.
I love Ant-Man and I love Paul Rudd.
Various
This is like the
opinions.
best of both. Like Ant-Man was one of my first like favorite superheroes, and so you put Paul Rudd in that character and just tops.
So Logan, you saw a movie as well.
I did. I went to the theater, and I saw Incredibles 2. It was a very good movie. It was a very good sequel.
In the spirit of good sequels.
In the spirit of good sequels. Yeah, no, it was really, really good. Yeah, I just went to the theater with a friend, and we saw Incredibles 2, and it's been a while since the first Incredibles movie came out. Also a while since I'd seen it. I wish I would have had enough foresight to watch the first film before I'd seen the second. I didn't get a chance though. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna watch the first one and then I'm gonna watch the second one again. Because I really like The Incredibles and this was a good sequel. It was a good sequel. I don't think it was as good as the original. I don't think the idea was quite as fresh, but it was good, and it was well written. Have you guys both seen it?
It's Captain America: Civil War. That's the plot of this movie.
Is it?
From a basic standpoint, like the heroes are outlawed again.
Yeah.
And they want some government control over it, which is the plot of Captain America: Civil War.
Oh, yeah. So, I don't know. I thought it was a little bit predictable.
Oh yeah, they telegraphed that.
Yeah, like, I was like...
No pun intended.
Yeah, it was... Yeah, it wasn't subtle at all. Like, when they, there was that moment with the one character, the rich dude, is like, I'm gonna bring back the supers, and then the sister, who was obviously upset at the supers and her father's love for the supers, which she views as something that took both her parents, first her father, and then obviously once she lost the mother soon after, and so obviously she's bitter, and they like telegraph again. You said they telegraph it, like they like right off the bat they're like, here it is.
It was very clear to me the moment she stepped onto screen the first time. I was like, yep.
There's the villain. So I don't know, I think ultimately it wasn't as big as I wanted it to be.
I think Dream Trot puts it pretty well, or the way I feel. He says villain could have been better, but I'm still sticking to the first movie's villain was the best. It is hard to beat the villain from the first movie and his motivations.
Yeah.
That was some incredible writing.
Well, and I think one of the things you have to do with, any superhero film really, and I think they kind of missed this one as and I guess they did it in a way. They needed to increase the scale, right? So the first one was kind of hush hush,
It's an isolated incident.
Right. They need some help, and then okay, here's a more public incident that happens. They pick right back up at the very end of the film. It's like, okay, here's Incredibles 2, and I thought that was really nice.
And that scene is really cool too. Like you get right into the action with the family working together.
Yeah. So I think if there was ever a series that needed another movie,
Toy Story.
I honestly think Toy Story could not do a fourth film and they'd be fine. But yeah. I think Incredibles 3 needs to happen now. I think it needs to happen. One, I mean, Pixar is just going to make a crud ton of money off of it, right?
Is this the grow up movie? I kind of liked that about this one, how they didn't jump forward. We just kind of picked things up.
Right. Well, I think they'll do the same in this film. I think we'll pick back up, but I think there will be a time skip. So I think you'll pick back up, and we'll get some clarification about the new laws and this new age. Superheroes are legal again. Everybody's coming back. Okay, oh no, it's becoming My Hero Academia. You know, that kind of thing.
There's gonna be a passing of the torch theme for the next movie.
Dude, if they don't take inspiration from like My Hero, because I think that's a fantastic way to go.
I mean, they'd be taking inspiration for a couple of their own movies, because Toy Story 3 is a passing of the torch, and so is Cars 3.
Yeah, but I think it's just, I'm so much more excited about this because it's superheroes, and this is The Incredibles, and what a great superhero IP that's not like DC or Marvel, right?
We need to talk about the best character in that movie, and that is one of the kind of, I guess you'd call them like the third-party heroes. I think his name is Brick. As soon as he showed up on screen, I was at the movies with Devin. I think I leaned into his ear, and I was like, "This guy's name is gonna be Brick," and he said, "My name is Brick." I knew it was gonna be Brick. I was like, I'm waiting for it.
So I mean, it's like, you know, predicting anything in a movie, right? So like obviously predicting who's the bad guy, but like being able to predict like a character, you can see him, be like, that guy, his name is Brick. He's got bricks on him. He's big and he looks dumb, right? His name is Brick.
Oh, Dream Drop's right. The best character is actually the raccoon.
The best character is the raccoon.
I missed the theater run for this in my area by a day. It was the day I was going to see Ant-Man. Was the last day they had Incredibles 2 at the theater there. And I was already going to see Ant-Man, so I messed up.
I mean, it's slowly going out, but like I still had like, you know, 4 showings in any given day for Incredibles 2, you know, at my local theater. So I think
I'll
it's
have to
probably
drive
still
an hour
a
if I
month or
want
two
to see
left
it.
in the theaters before it's kind of gone. But yeah, I really enjoyed Incredibles 2. I think they should make another one. I'd love to go see it in theaters. So Pixar, I don't think I've ever wanted a Pixar sequel more. You know what I mean?
I feel that.
Like when Toy Story 3 came along, it was unexpected. I was like, what? Like, I don't know why. I just never anticipated it. I think because they weren't like a sequel factory back in the day, right?
But given the story they told with that movie, I think it was very clear that movie needed to happen. Like, I feel like that's a very obvious story to tell. Oh, yeah.
Also, the time frame that they waited to tell it,
yeah,
like, that was significant as well. But, you know, most of these other things, like, I didn't think Cars ever needed a sequel. I think that could have stayed a solo movie.
Cars 3 was okay. Cars 2, I don't understand why it exists in the fashion that it does.
I started watching
like
Cars 2.
You said a lot with that, Brandon. Cars 3 is okay.
It's not bad. Like, it feels like it should be a Cars movie, whereas Cars 2 is not even a Cars movie.
Cars 2 is the movie that you put on when you're hanging out and you don't want to watch a movie, but you want background noise.
Yeah. You're not
Cars 2 is the liberal agenda.
It's fun. The voice acting's fun.
I'd rather watch Planes than Cars 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that covers it for movies and TV. So we'll jump into some anime. Another week without Boruto. I was upset. We went 1 week with no episode, a week with an episode, and then another week with no episode. So I'm like, can we stop doing this, please? Can we not? So instead of that, I've been continuing my plow, and I mean plow, through Naruto.
How far are you in?
I watched an entire arc since the last time I talked about
goodness
it.
Gracious.
I am in the final arc of part 1 right now, and a significant way through it already.
Right.
Well, I guess not significant.
I was gonna say which of the 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5?
I just got through 1. I finished after 1 last night.
Okay, yeah, you are a good point.
It brought some manly tears to my eyes.
That first one, oh man, that makes me cry every time. Like the rest of it, yeah, but that first one, just.
I think 2's pretty good too. It's almost the same thing again, but still.
1 is more relatable to me.
I feel. So this is probably the most notable arc in all of Naruto, and I'm beginning to remember why. It's very strong, fast-paced too.
It sets up part 2 very well.
Yeah, the end, literally like the end arc of part 1 sets up the entirety of part 2. So it is very significant to the story. And then once you get to part 2, everything is like significant to the story from start to finish. In Naruto, I'd say like the first arc and then some of the second arc are like inconsequential, but they serve to build the world, and you get exposed to the characters before they really start telling the story, you know. So I'm enjoying that, and I might be done by the time I talk to you guys next.
Oh no.
And then I'll take.
They really need to do it Naruto Kai, because I want to experience like beginning to end all over again, but without reading it. And I just want to see how it's just
do that
escalate
without having to watch it the first time.
There's a lot.
I stopped watching a long time ago.
I love part 1. I also love part 2. The way part 2 was handled is what I don't love. The content's great. It's just, you know, you have to give us the content.
Dear Viz, fix please. Thank you.
Yeah. On top of that, watch the new dubbed episode of My Hero Academia, Moving into the Dorms. I was warned about this episode, at least in regards to Mineta.
Oh, yeah.
They're not wrong, boy, is he creepy. They were like getting a little too far in that direction. I was like, this show's for children.
You need to like take a step back and like breathe once or twice more.
There was like one shot where he like a waterfall of saliva comes out of his mouth, and the way it's animated is so gross.
They really sell it though. You know, you have to give them props for that regardless. It's really convincing. You know.
We get to.
But it offers some like comedic relief in an episode.
That's kind of what this whole episode is. It's kind of a slow burn. We're taking a break after quite a season of intensity so far.
Yeah.
Hey, Sleepy Mario. Yeah, so the heroes or the hero students are moving into their dorms, and to kind of lighten the mood, everybody's like, hey, let's rate each other's dorms. Who's got the best dorm design? And yeah, that's
Bakugo.
That's kind of the episode. We didn't get to see Bakugo's dorm because after he found out what they were doing, he went to bed. Speaking of Bakugo, there's a great scene at the beginning when Mr. Aizawa is telling them that he would have expelled all of them. Where Bakugo like takes Denki Kaminari, the lightning guy, and steals money from him and then makes him go crazy.
I wasn't sure if he stole money from him or just made him go crazy to like distract everyone while he gave that money away so that they're not focusing on him doing a nice thing.
In the dub, he does say that it's his own money when he gives it to Kirishima, but I'm still like, it wasn't super clear, but I think I get what they were going for with that. So yeah, he uses Denki's dumb, overpowered electricity mode to make everyone laugh, lighten the mood. Then he gives Kaminari the money he owes him for buying those binoculars to go save him.
He's
sweet
such a
scene.
good dude.
Bakugo's character's been seeing a lot of like great moments recently, so loving
He
that.
needs to keep it up. Never go full Sasuke.
Yeah, don't, please. We did it once. That's it. We're done. No more. Other than that, there's a pretty important scene, I'd say, towards the end with Froppy and the way that she feels in regards to the whole situation, because she was one of the students who warned everyone that they should not go to save Bakugo because they'd be breaking the rules. And it hurt her, and it hurt her a lot to see everyone go, and she didn't know about it. And so she confronts the group that did go by confiding in Ochako and having her go tell everybody else. And it's a really touching scene. And you see Kaminari, not Kaminari, Kirishima gets like really emotional. He's like, I won't ever make you feel this way again. And I was like, he's such a sweetheart.
I mean, you can see it in his eyes. Like, he's not a bad dude.
No, Kirishima is one of my favorite, like, side characters who aren't, like, you know, Ochako, Ida, Deku, or whatnot. Yeah, this was a touching moment, and as far as progressing the plot forward, this is kind of all we get in the episode, but it's character relationship building, which I appreciate.
Yeah, it almost feels like filler. Although, I mean, it's not terribly significant to the story, but I mean, but it is still, you know, because there is that conversation, and that's significant. But yeah, but it doesn't move the story forward anyway. It's kind of like just
important they now live on campus.
Well,
Yes.
I mean, that's kind of a moot point in the episode as a whole. I'm interested to know if this was filler or not, because I'm okay with like 1 or 2 filler episodes in between like big arcs, because you just need a break. You need to like unwind, have fun with the characters for a bit, then get back in.
There were significant moments that I think are they're worthwhile, right? And they are significant to the greater you know, whole. So having that, like, okay, I'm expressing my feelings, and everybody's, oh no, we're reacting in this way to this thing we did, and kind of,
we love you, Froppy.
You know, because they're showing, it's like, okay, these are the kind of people that these heroes are, right?
Yeah.
So I thought it was a good episode. It was a good episode. It was not my favorite episode, but I also went back this week and I watched the 2 that I hadn't. I'd watched them subbed, and then I watched the dubs. So
strong dub. Don't ever let anyone tell you that you can't watch a dub, because this is a prime example of what a dub can be. I saw an interesting conversation on Twitter yesterday where Anime AJ, it's a popular anime YouTuber who delves into like production and animation and all the people who are involved specifically in the realm of Dragon Ball Super, and he had a lot to say about Dragon Ball Super's dub. It's a filler episode featuring Goku and Hit, and Hit says something, and he's like, I guess it's time for me to make the donuts or whatever, and you know, in terms of, hey, I'm gonna fight you, Goku, and to me that means I'm gonna make the donuts, or that's how he expresses that, and boy did he not like that. And I'm like, and Scott Frericks, who's Kaiser Neko over at Team 4 Star, plays some of the characters, writes the scripts and whatnot, edits the show. He was like, isn't it Funimation's job to adapt the script and improve upon it or do something different with it? And Anime AJ's reply to that was, no, it should be as faithful as possible, which I feel like is missing the point. Kind of tone deaf, if you ask me. You
know, there are certain things that, like, I like when they keep and it also depends on the show, right? For something like Dragon Ball, it's a lot of fantasy, right? It's a lot of just like over the top stuff, and in that case, like, I don't know why you care so much.
Hi, Gunlings.
And then there are other shows that are much more in line with, you know, modern Japanese culture, and so having some of the cultural stuff in there makes sense, right? Because it's pertinent to the atmosphere and to these characters themselves, right? But Goku's an alien.
Yeah.
So is Hit, you know? And so especially in these moments, okay, well, what's the feeling? What are they trying to convey? And so you're not translating word for word. That's bad translation.
Dream Drop is actually bringing up a great point. He says dubs have potential to be way better than the subs. Cowboy Bebop. Oh, we lost Paul.
Oopsie.
Oh, there he is. Panty and Stocking, Full Metal Alchemist, we lost Paul again, Soul Eater, and Ghost Stories. But Ghost Stories specifically, because for those of you who don't know, Ghost Stories is this really bad anime about kids and ghost stories, and in the dub, they recognize that it's a bad show, so instead of just adapting the series as it was with the dub, they turned it into a parody of itself. Like, there's a child character, and instead of actually talking, he just says... He never actually says words. That's just what he does the whole time. And it's hilarious. But you would have never gotten that if they hadn't adapted, which is what a dub is.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, even if it's little stuff like the one of the most recent examples I have is from My Hero. Is it in the first season? Yeah, it's in the first season where the English dub, it's All Might, and he goes, "Holy stinking super crap," you know?
Yes.
And it was so funny. I laughed so hard. I thought it was so good. But then, like, what is it in the sub?
Oh my goodness!
Right, so like it's like a little bit different, but it's like it's the same thing, you know? But I mean, oh my goodness, like that's only so funny. But
I mean, it's funny in the Japanese sub because he's saying English words, and that's funny,
right?
In that sense.
But okay, now we're already speaking English, so you're not going to say "oh my goodness." You're going to say "holy stinking super crap."
And the dub, you know, they recognized, you know, that they can't just do the same thing over again and expect people to find it funnier than the original. So they did their own thing.
Yeah, it's not necessarily interesting just to translate word to word, you know.
And sure, Hit might be like a stone cold, you know, assassin, but for him to say that he's going to make the donuts, and he said it in a serious tone, a serious tone, it's not that bad. Dragon Ball is a zany show. Let the characters be zany too. Dream Drop's bringing up another example, which is actually, this one I know well myself. He says, another example, Sergeant Frog's first episode of the dub makes Christian Bale Batman jokes. Like, it's good because there's cultural differences. That show wouldn't even work if you adapted it into English directly because most of the jokes are just Japanese.
Shows like that.
Yeah.
There's so many shows like that.
So I don't know if that's something I wanted to bring up because I responded to it, and I had some fairly strong opinions about that. So that's my thought. Paul, what do you got for anime?
So on top of My Hero Academia, I also watched the final episode of Megalobox. That is a top tier show. The final fight,
hallelujah,
so good, so good.
Yes. It's beautiful. It's amazing. I love that show.
That show is like,
God bless,
work of art.
I'm excited to check it out.
Watch it.
That's like,
praise be the animators.
That might be anime of the season, unlike Darling of the Franxx, which I heard was not.
I kind of want to start watching that specifically because it's not.
Yeah, I'm a little curious myself, but that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Man, I hope Megalobox gets a dub at some point. Because man, if there's any show that, you know, American voice actors could do a good dub of, it'd be a boxing series.
Oh yeah.
You know?
American is boxing.
If we could get Sylvester Stallone to play like a character, right? I think that would be great. I think that'd be fantastic.
One teacher's old pupil.
Are you suggesting he play that character?
Someone who's not like right in the forefront, but someone that like his voice might be able to fit.
Yeah, no, you find someone that fits, and it's just kind of like a you know, a reference.
Yeah, you don't want to be too on the nose with something like that.
Right. He wouldn't fit with the main character, but yeah.
What else do we have for anime this week?
That's it for me, Logan.
In addition to My Hero Academia, I did two things. One, I tried watching the Dragon Ball Super sub, and I just couldn't do it.
Where did you start from?
Just about where I had started watching, like where I was in the dub. So around episode 60.
It's jarring, isn't it?
It's jarring because, like, oh man, like, Goku's voice is drastically different.
Masako Nozawa, who's been playing Goku since the beginning, has not changed her performance of Goku since Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Same voice.
So, yeah, I'm just really partial to Sean Schemmel. So
yeah, it took a lot even for me and Paul to kind of get used to it, but at that point it was our only way to really, you know, watch. Yeah. So you might not have a choice here coming up.
Yeah, I'm thinking about going back to it, but
you got 6 months.
I can wait a little bit. Yeah. But
oh, can we mention that really quick?
What?
Broly's official designs came out.
Oh, yeah.
For the Dragon Ball Super movie. And the character in the background that everyone was saying was Yamcha is Broly. Because of course it is. I like his new design. Love the colors. Excited for that. Thanks Toriyama, Yuji. And now everyone on Twitter who was super against this movie is super on board with it now.
People. So I guess the hashtag not my Dragon Ball Super movie isn't going to be trending.
No. People were like so against it, then they saw Broly's actual design and they're like, oh, actually I love this. That's why you wait to form an opinion.
Yeah.
Flip-floppers.
Outside of that, I finished an anime.
You finished this before I did.
Yeah, and I started like way later. How many episodes do you have? And
just 3.
Yeah. So Shokugeki no Soma. I won't talk a ton about it because we are
don't want to spoil Brandon.
Planning a discussion.
We're doing an episode on Shokugeki no Soma.
Shokugeki no Soma, Food Wars. Yukihiro Soma is one of my favorite characters in all of anime.
Takumi Aratini.
It's so good. I don't understand. I mean, obviously I made jokes for the longest time, right? You guys go back and you guys watch episodes of me ripping on these guys for watching Shokugeki no Soma, and it's all fun. Like, I wasn't actually serious, but I was like, I'm not gonna get around to watching Food Wars.
Oh, look what happened.
I got around to watching Food Wars and I binged the heck out of it. Oh man, it's so good. It's so good. It's exciting. It's heartwarming. It's what you like. It gives me the same feels that I got going through Dragon Ball Kai, right? Because like I'd watch Goku and he just wouldn't give up, and he goes, I'm gonna do this, and he'd recklessly throw himself into situations, and he quite literally died, you know, but so he keeps doing it, he dies so many times, right? So it's just like he keeps doing it, and he gets better and better and gets stronger, and eventually he overcomes, right? And it's the same freaking story here. Yukihiro Soma, he's confident. He's like, no, I can do this, I can think it, I just need to work harder, and I need to, you know, keep training and keep learning about all these things, and then I'm gonna beat everybody. And he freaking does, because he's Yukihiro Soma.
Well, Logan, I only have one thing to say to you now that you've seen it. Glad you liked it.
Glad you liked it.
So,
that's the real reason I gotta learn Japanese.
That's
so
why I gotta eat.
Say it. That's why I got it.
That's an accurate statement after watching the show.
All that stuff.
Yeah, so look out. We'll be having an episode with Roger's Base talking all about Shokugeki no Soma. He has read the manga, so he's actually ahead of us, but we'll be talking about the end of Season 3 and back. It'll just be an episode about Shokugeki, what we love about it, favorite parts of the series, that kind of stuff.
You mean everything?
I love it a lot.
Yeah. So that covers anime for this week, so we'll go ahead and get into the games. Paul, you and I played some Smash Brothers this weekend.
Oh boy, it's been a long
weekend.
time since I've had that much fun playing Smash Brothers.
Yeah, and the majority of it was spent in one-on-ones when we were waiting for two other people.
They eventually showed up.
We played Melee first for a while, and we were playing it through means that may have not replicated the game.
They were playing through means.
Because it didn't feel responsive. It definitely felt like the game was actively fighting me. So I think it's showing its age.
Didn't stop me from kicking my butt, but I also felt the same way. So.
Well, even after a while, we were just doing like the 1v1s, competitive matches, and then eventually we turned items on, and we were having more fun when we turned the items on. And you and I are traditionally, fans of playing super competitively. So it was great to just kind of unwind with some items on, with some dumb stuff happening.
My favorite was Brandon was playing as Captain Falcon, and I decided since I was gonna get creamed that I'd play as Jigglypuff because I don't know how to play as Jigglypuff.
Oh yeah.
First stock, I have the advantage, and Brandon comes back. He immediately falls down into a pit and loses his second stock
right away.
And while he's laughing, I take out his third stock.
Yeah, like after my second stock, I was like, nope, it's done. I cannot. I was gone. There was no coming back. Yeah, it was a good time. We rounded out most of the characters pretty quickly. It was weird, like how fast we were done with the cast.
And then it was time to switch to Smash 4.
We switched to Smash 4, and it took me about 15 minutes to remember how to play Smash 4 after playing Melee. It's weird.
Yeah, that's what you call it.
You can't... It did, because I was trying to, directional air dodge and do things that you can't do in Smash 4, and I was like, wait a minute, I gotta rewire my brain really quick. I like Smash 4 a whole lot.
It was pretty good. It's really pretty good.
I like it more than Melee.
It was definitely more responsive than our time playing Melee.
Yeah. Yeah, Smash 4 is so good. All I could think about while playing it was Smash Ultimate.
Yeah, that game is going to be so good. It's going to be the best.
I like how they dipped back into Melee a little bit with Ultimate. Not like a ton, but some of the DNA, they took some of the DNA of Melee and they kind of put it back in the game, right? But then balanced it, right? So obviously, air dodges exist, but in a different way, We have both the air dodges from Brawl and Smash 4 and Melee's air dodges, so we got both. Yeah. Pretty neat.
Yay!
So yeah, we also played with items on it eventually in Smash 4, and that's a lot of fun. Smash 4's got some fun items.
Oh yeah. We also did some teams with some items on, and actually I didn't get a chance to tell you this. I went and the guys we were playing with, one of them was a coworker and then his friend, and I was talking to him today. And he's like, "Yeah, you weren't lying. Brandon was very, very good at Smash." They were both in awe of you.
Oh, well. The sad part is, I wasn't trying that hard.
I'll tell them that.
They were fun to play with, though. It was a good time.
Yeah.
We did a couple matches where we did, 1v3. We started with you, and you picked Great Cave Offensive. And I was offended that you picked Great Cave Offensive. And then when it was my turn,
for a reason.
When it was my turn to 1v3, you picked Great Cave Offensive for me.
It balanced out. It was fair.
Dream Drop says Smash Ultimate isn't going to be the best game. It's going to become the only game. Tell that to the Melee players. We love you, by the way, Melee players.
They're dwindling little by little.
I see Melee going for at least another like 5-10 years strong.
Yeah.
It's nice to see it. It'd be nice to see everybody like jump onto the same game, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah, Smash was fun. What else did you play, Paul? You played a bit more than I did.
Yeah, I kind of got stuck in Hollow Knight, and I'm in a spot where like I just keep going back and forth between the last save point and the mini boss, or not the mini boss, the actual boss of the area, and then I'll die and I'll go back to the save point, and I'll go back so I can get all my money back, and then I'll fight the boss again, and then I'll die, and then I'll go back to the save point. It's just an endless cycle. So I'm kind of I'm finding a little less enjoyment right now, but eventually I will get past this. And I will go back to enjoying Hollow Knight.
I will get past this era of my life in which I can
Either that
finish
or I'll
Hollow
give
Knight.
up and play other games, but we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted on what happens.
I'm a little more interested to hear about this other one.
So I haven't played a whole lot more of this, but I did pick up and play Pato Box.
Pato Box.
It to me, like, the first thing you do is you have a boxing match, and it follows more of like the Punch-Out style. Except it was really hard to read the opponent, and I'm wondering if they're playing like, you know, you were fighting the champion, and then everyone you kind of box after that won't be that difficult. And then eventually you'll go back and you'll fight that guy in the end.
It's like that Mega Man X design complex where you see the end first, and then you have to build up to it.
Either that, or maybe the boxing isn't as tight as it should be. I'm not ready to say that yet, because I've only been in one boxing match in the story so far.
It'd be kind of bad to say that it's not tight when that's the core gameplay. This is the game.
I mean, honestly, like, I played 20 minutes. I did that in, like, maybe less than 5. And then I've been doing a lot of other things since. Like, the story is a lot of walking around in an environment, and you can, like, pivot and, like, walk in different directions, and all you can do is, like, punch. You want to interact, you want to talk to someone, you got to punch at them.
So it's like Punch-Out, but in, like, Quake Doom style gameplay. It's the way it looks, at least.
It's very trippy, like, especially with the art style being all black and white.
And also, we mentioned this in the Nintendo Stuff podcast, which you guys will hear soon, that you play as a duck.
Duckman! Paddle Box.
He's just a duck that boxes. It's a box and duck game. It's cool stuff.
I will say, like, the cutscenes for this game are, like, pure comic book, like, comic strips.
Mm-hmm.
It'll just kind of, like, pan through them. And so it's told in a very interesting way.
It's very committed to its style.
So far, I like the story.
Cool.
And so some that I look forward to being able to tell you guys more about in the future. But for now, that's all.
All right, Logan, what did you play this week?
Honestly, not a ton. But I brought my Switch to work today, and I played some Fortnite.
Bring your Switch to work day!
Yeah, so, yeah, I played Fortnite, and, I played a few, like, 50v50, a few solo, and I died very quickly in the solo matches. But I won. I stayed alive till the very end on my very first 50v50, so I will take that. I will take that as someone who hardly plays Fortnite.
Did you?
I went ahead. I turned on the motion controls.
That's what I was gonna ask. Yeah.
So it's not like an on-off switch. So you go into the settings, and there's 3 separate sliders. And one is for just your regular camera, one's for your aiming camera, and then one's for your scope camera. And so you can all adjust those separately. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You can adjust all of those separately, which it's great. That's great. That's fantastic. That's how you want to do it.
Recommended default for those?
No, it's just they're all set at 0. I went so it's just a decimal. It's like 0 to 1, so it's like 0.5. So I went 0.5 with everything but the scope, but I never got a scoped weapon, so I didn't get to test out how slow that would have been. But the half speed felt pretty good. I think I might want it to be a little bit like I'm gonna up the sensitivity next time I play.
A little snappier.
I'll just kind of, yeah. And I think part of that is because I don't want to have to move my controller a ton. I just want to be able to move it enough where it feels smooth still and I feel precise. But also, like, I don't want to have to move my controller a terrible amount to do that. So
sure.
But I was enjoying myself. I was kind of getting some of the controls down. I was finding weapons and figuring out the difference, like a lot of the fundamentals. And it's not a very deep game, but there's a little bit of learning curve and
infinitely more fun with friends.
Yes. But I was enjoying myself.
Yeah, so that pretty much covers it for this week. One thing that we wanted to do with this episode that we actually forgot was to say what our highlights of the week were. So every week...
We should start with that next week.
I don't think we'll start with it necessarily. Just like when you get to your highlight, just say it's your highlight.
Right.
So for me, my highlight of the week was watching Naruto, because I watched a whole lot of it. That was like largely what my week was watching Naruto.
Tell me how you really feel.
My 24-year-old self watching middle school anime. So that was me.
Yeah, my highlight was definitively Shokugeki no Soma. Like, what a great show. It's one of my favorites already. I thought I had some favorites, and I was like, how could anything be better than My Hero Academia? And I'm not saying it's necessarily better, but it's at least on par with My Hero, and it's, man, I can't believe I get to watch these shows at the same time,
Yeah, man.
So watch Shokugeki no Soma. It's so good.
Mine would have been Smash Brothers.
All right, so we got two anime highlights, one game highlight. I like that. A decent amount of variety. So, we have an episode on Shokugeki no Soma featuring our good friend Roger Space. We will be talking all things Shokugeki no Soma. Haven't got that scheduled yet. It will be this month. I'll let you know when that's going to happen. Patrons, we're going to have our Patreon episode of the Breakdown Podcast. That will be the last Monday of the month is what we're shooting for. We will also let you know if that changes. And we will also get up the recommendations for next month, probably the first week of August. So thank you for your support, and we're excited to deliver to you the very first Patreon episode. That's going to be fun. Also, if you want to talk to us, hang out with us, just, play some games maybe. Jump in our Discord server. There's a link to it in the description. We got plenty of channels, some exclusive channels for our patrons, and yeah, there's a lot going on in there. There's a lot of people. It's picking up the pace a little bit, so definitely check us out there. And if you're not supporting us currently on Patreon, there is a link to that in the description as well. You can support us for as little as $1 a month. If you want to get on those podcast topics, you can suggest them at the $5 tier. So there's some good incentives for you there. We got some videos coming up. We were gifted a review code by our friends at Curve Digital and Rubber Duck Games for Bomber Crew, which just came out on Nintendo Switch last Monday. I've currently been playing through that, talked a little bit about it on Nintendo Stuff Podcast. Again, we're going to get you that episode. We're sorry we had some technical difficulties with that. And we also have some new stuff coming from our good friend Paul. I don't know if he wants to talk to you about that yet.
Well, I don't know when exactly, but I'm working on a review for Hollow Knight, so you can learn more about that.
Cool. So we got some exciting stuff in the wings. So yeah, if you like this video on YouTube, please leave us a like. If you want to support us more, once this is up on podcasting services, please leave us a rating, because that really helps the show grow. I've seen that a couple people have been doing that. And you guys have been doing that on YouTube. You guys rock. Thank you. We've got a lot of new subscribers every week. We're growing. It's pretty exciting. Soon we're going to hit that 500 subscriber mark. That's going to be an awesome moment for us. We'll be halfway to 1,000, and then, you know, it's only up from there.
And then 10,000, 100,000, and then 100 million. We're going to beat PewDiePie.
Yeah, shoot for the stars. So yeah. Thanks again, guys, for watching. Don't break your backs. Break in the games. But for now, break time's over.